Honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many garbage things.
You don't know what you're gonna get.
Melodrama upon melodrama!
This is a totally
Shameful, disgraceful piece of nonsense!
He was balls off it yesterday.
You'll learn a lot more if you listen rather than talk all the time.
No problem.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast. How are you, Will?
All good, brother. Schedules are all thrown out of whack because we missed one day, and therefore it's chaos.
I don't think it matters much anymore. When we started first, it was like weekend games and 2 games during the week that people cared about. But now it's just there's games all the time, so we just kind of pop in whenever you want. Stick this on, and we'll hit the main stories. We'll hit the main ones.
Look, you're listening. If you're listening, like, what about who would be? What about Brighton's FA Cup game? It's not going. Don't even know what happened. Didn't know that. Are they in the tournament?
I'm going to be honest. I didn't watch these games, Will. Yeah, I'm not watching the fourth round.
FA Cup
of
round
FA Cup.
5? No fucking chance.
I haven't really bothered to put the VAR in for this one. I mean, if they don't care, why should I care? That's why I don't know, Will.
No VAR. Arnie Slot's not playing any of his players. No one cares. Scrap it.
Well, you try telling that to those Plymouth Argyle fans, Will. They bloody care about the cup. They care about the cup.
Do you think that the magic of the cup has dwindled because of things like this? Like, yes, Plymouth might beat Liverpool, but Plymouth are never going to come up against the Liverpool first team ever again, as long as they're in that league and playing them in the FA Cup. Do you know what I mean? It's always going to be the C team now, because it's like, get knocked out, it'd actually be great.
Yeah, well, for Liverpool, it's less games. That's the reward. Like, I mean, I was thinking about this. The quad. As soon as someone other than us talked about it died. Peter Drury cursed them.
Yeah, he killed that. We were much quieter. We were whispering it much lower than him.
Yeah, he didn't even say it himself. He was saying other people are saying that there's a quad, other people will maybe start saying, can they win it all in the next round, lose to bottom of the championship, bottom League One, Plymouth Argyle?
Yeah, Plymouth have beaten more Premier League teams than championship teams this year.
Wayne Rooney's Plymouth Argyle, Will.
Yeah, that's the last time you'll have heard of them. It's like, I think they're going awfully.
I think Wayne Rooney has destroyed that team as well. I honestly, when I heard it, I thought, wow, that's a huge win for Wayne Rooney. That'll
save the job. Yeah,
I forgot that he had left that because he's on the overlap. He's not in the overlap. He's manager of a team. He's not manager of a team. It's hard to keep track with his career, even though it's only 2 things. But nevertheless, I was like, oh wow, Rooney beat Liverpool. That'll probably be part of it. And then now it's been going on for ages. But yeah, for Plymouth Argyle, they make it relegate this year, thanks in no small part to their former manager. This is a big win for them. I mean, forget about Liverpool. It's a big win for them this season. A win is a win. So it doesn't matter who it comes against.
The morale. It's all about the morale. Carry this into the next championship game, lads. Oh, that must be very frustrating, by the way, for maybe not Plymouth fans, but the Plymouth manager being like, beat Liverpool, will you? Not last week when we were playing, I don't know, Leeds or anyone in the championship.
No, we're careful, Will. We're going to show our lack of ball knowledge. We keep trying to list championship
I quickly stopped. I said Leeds. We're 3 minutes in. We said we watched no games, and I don't know one team in the championship.
Let's play that game. That's okay. How many championship games? How many teams do you think you can name?
I could name 7.
Okay, I can name 8. Can you beat that? Can you name 9?
Oh, I think I could name 9.
Okay, name 9. I can't do more than 9. I honestly, I couldn't do 8. I couldn't even do 7.
I thought you could do 8. You convinced me. Right, we've got Leeds.
Yeah.
We've got Plymouth.
Yeah.
Millwall.
Different example. Exactly, yeah. Keep going.
Millwall.
Millwall?
Sunderland.
Oh, a championship?
Are they in the championship?
Have you failed
They're
it?
back, are they?
Have you failed at 3? Let me just check up.
Oh, they're definitely in the championship. God, Sunderland.
They are. They're fourth in the championship.
Yes.
Will they're on the way up?
They're on the way up. That's crazy. Burnley, what's that, 5? Sheffield United,
Yeah, I'd say so.
Norwich, 2 more.
Yeah.
Oh, here's where it gets sticky. Derby County, did they go down?
Oh yes, they're in it. Will they're in it?
Oh, one more. Oh no, this is where it falls apart.
Think of teams that went down in recent years.
That's what I'm
Even
trying to think.
last year.
West Brom.
Yes, West Brom. Congratulations, Will.
Thank you. Take that. Anyone who said I know anything about football, I could name 9 of them.
He can name 9 championship teams, and I challenge you at home to name more than that.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you'd surprise us. I'm not sure, but when I look through it, it's a lot of proper Barclays teams. Will obviously it's a subjective opinion of mine, but you know, you got your Burnleys, your Sunderlands, your West Broms, your Blackburns, your Middlesbroughs, your Norwiches, Watfords, QPR, Swansea, Portsmouth, Stoke, Derby, Hull, Luton, all in the championship, in the Premier League in recent times, all condemned to second division.
A lot of teams there that I thought that I didn't say for fear of, have they gone bust? Did I hear they gone bust not too long ago?
Yeah, typically, you know, it goes one of two ways. They kind of go down to the championship and they're kind of like up and down, or they go down to like conference. You know, once they come out of Premier League, it's a house of cards. It all tumbles down. They go into receivership. They sell all their players, the whole thing. So yeah, most of them are still in the championship. And I don't know how we got talking about that. Oh yeah, Plymouth Argyle. They beat Liverpool FC. For God's sake, it now was the second strength Liverpool side. Like I said, I mean, some of those players got the week off or the weekend off. You know, the likes of Van Dijk, Trent, Salah. They weren't even on the bench, so they couldn't even kind of call on them when it was, you know, going tits up. They did have like Luis Diaz and Chiesa, and yeah, maybe does it take the pressure off that there's no treble now? I mean, the Carabao Cup is not, no one really counts that as a treble even. You know what I mean? I mean, it's 3 trophies, you know, but now it's like, all right, League and Champions League. They're the 2 ones that people care about. That's a lot less games you have to worry about in terms of Carabao and FA Cup. Is it better for them?
Yeah, it's funny to say, but I think it is, definitely. I think there's a lot to be said for just focusing on one thing, because we've seen Liverpool were like 3 games away from winning the quadruple, and they ended up winning nothing. Is that right? Or just the Carabao? Do you remember that season?
They won the 2 cups.
2 cups, yeah.
The FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, which again, any other season would be a triumphant year, but because it's like, well, it could have been the quad and it wasn't. It just makes it like nothing.
Yeah, it's worth it. A bit of pain now. Give it a month. When the next round of FA Cup fixtures come around, you're going to think, I'm actually glad we're not still in that. I don't care. Once you're out, you're annoyed that day. 2 weeks later, you could not care less.
Yeah. The only thing, I guess, from this fixture would be if Plymouth Argyle were to go on and win it. That would be huge. Like I say, if you're at Liverpool and you're, I think, top of the Champions League?
Yes, they're
You know,
top of the league and the Champions League.
You have realistic hopes of winning it. Same with the Premier League. You are out in front. Like Plymouth Argyle, as we mentioned, they're bottom of the pure Barclays Championship. Tough league at the best times. They'll probably get relegated. But if they won the FA Cup, you know, I mean, strange things have happened. Like, say, if every top Premier League team is like, fuck this competition, we just want to, you know, get top 4 or whatever. You know, it's doable, Will. It's not undoable. I mean, it'd be huge for them. And I mean, again, if you're a Plymouth Argyle supporter, a win is all you want for how many games now? You know, so I mean, it doesn't matter where it comes from. And the fact that it comes against Liverpool's B team, it doesn't really matter because most of them would be better than any championship player. So, you know, it's a great day for them, all in.
Yeah, it's funny to think that they're probably better off coming up against the biggest teams in the Premier League, like the top teams, like the biggest names, Chelsea, Man United, Man City, because they are the teams that be like, I couldn't be arsed, Plymouth. Whereas you come up against like a Brighton, a Newcastle, a Bournemouth, and go, this is the year we win a trophy. They're doomed.
Yeah. Is there a draw still for the FA Cup, or is it already?
I think it's already come out. I believe Plymouth are playing Man City, if I haven't made that up. So there you go.
Oh,
Our theories put to the test.
Well, breaking news from the past, Will. Are Man City still within a shout in the Champions League?
Well, I'll tell you now, this is a huge breaking news from the past, probably the biggest we've ever had, as Man City are playing Real Madrid as we speak, and they're currently 1 goal up.
Oh, who was the score?
Erling Haaland, of course, after 20 minutes.
Erling Haaland. That's your breaking news from the past, folks. Man City still in the Champions League. Will they care about the FA Cup? Who knows? Although I feel Jack Grealish could probably, do a number on the likes of the Plymouth Argyle players. I don't know. It depends if he's up for it that day. But yeah, I think it's. I think there's still a bit of magic in the cup for days like this.
Yeah, I think so. It does. There is this impending sense, though, of like the longer teams like Liverpool and that, are like happy to be knocked out of it or just going to use it to play their B teams. Like, right, well, how long are they actually going to stay in these tournaments then? And like, eventually, one of the billionaire owners is going to go, this is a waste of time. We're pulling our team from the FA Cup.
Well, it happened many moons ago, Will, as we know. Sir Alex Ferguson famously pulling Man United from the FA Cup or not playing a fixture.
I can't remember if he didn't play it or if he was just like, I'm going to play the children, the actual children, the under-10s. I'm playing them.
Well, I don't think he could have legally done that. But wasn't there some Club World Cup game that was like, it was the new formation of it, and he said that this might be better for whatever reason than the FA Cup, which we've won.
Probably money.
A lot of times. More money, whatever. Maybe it wasn't his. I think those decisions were always put to Alex Ferguson at the time because people kind of felt like he could just walk away if he wanted to. He had that much power at the club. But maybe they all came to it as like a leadership group, the owner and David Gill, and they all said, "Yeah, this would be sick." Actually, to head off to Brazil or wherever they went, rather than
class. They said,
rather than like let me try and name a Champions side rather than say Luton. That's who you're missing. Will Luton went down last year.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that's where you start when you try and name championship teams. The players that went down last season. Anyways, I don't know. I think that was, and then they didn't try for the FA Cup for like years after that.
Yeah, I think it was like famously a thing. A mark against Ferguson was that he'd play the kids in the cups, and it's the league. That's all he cares about, and he doesn't care about and he didn't care about the football pyramid, of course.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. As it gets more and more professional, for the likes of Ferguson, who's like has tenure in these places, like that's almost unheard of these days. Like even if you're the Plymouth Argyle manager who's replaced Rooney, who I'm not sure it is, you're thinking, does it matter? The FA Cup, we're not going to win that. Let's be really serious about that. We're not going to win it. We need to get out of this relegation spot. Should I play the kids against Liverpool?
Should we all be playing the kids?
Like that, like it gets to that kind of cynical level where it's like it really doesn't matter. I'm not going to win the FA Cup, and even if I did, all the owners care about is me staying in the Championship. If I go down to League One, they're thinking, great, now we're 2 leagues away from the Premier League, which is where we all want to be. and I'm sacked.
No doubt, the American owners of Plymouth, no doubt, thinking the Premier League is so far away now.
Yeah, we were fucking nearly places we were away from the Premier League. That kind of stuff. That's what he's going to get in the neck if they, So maybe he's won the FA Cup and he comes back to frowns, Monday morning when they come in. Like, what the hell are you doing? We're still in that competition now. Great. I just think there's a bit of magic in the FA Cup for these things, but you'd imagine as the money gets tighter and tighter and more American owners come in and demand more profits, even the likes of
they don't care about the pyramid.
Yeah, they don't care about the pyramid at all. All they care about is the money. So that's the only thing you'd fear, that like these kind of days will be more and more rare. As even the likes of Plymouth, like the most important thing is staying up, not getting to the 5th round or the 3rd round or the fuck round of the FA Cup, because that doesn't equal money,
Exactly. Especially since they did away with the return fixtures. If you managed to
there's
hold
nothing
Liverpool
there,
to a draw, there's nothing for them now. Yeah, thanks to, I would say, a lot of Jurgen Klopp's doing.
Well, come on now. I mean, Jurgen Klopp is the only person who wanted less games.
No,
I mean, Jurgen Klopp was talking about himself, really.
Yeah.
you know, a lot of people talk about the players' health, and Rodri, of course, before he was taken out by the powers that be, was saying we might go on strike, and then bam, you know, shot to the knee. He was talking about himself, whereas Jurgen Klopp was like, I'm really tired of this. Me, not me as a Liverpool guy. Me, I'm tired of this. If you keep pushing me, I'm going to take an evil job. I'll do it.
I'm going to bring this institution to its knees. I'll do it.
So yeah, I mean, and like Arteta has complained about it. Ange obviously has been on the airwaves about it. They all complain about this. And was it Pep a few weeks ago was saying, look, I guess we're just going to have to stockpile more players if you want to keep up this shit. You know?
Yeah. And then they spent 250 million. They did.
Yeah. I don't know how they did that.
It's one of two things, because it's either one, there's no charges. That's done. Don't worry about that. Spend the money. Or it's the other case of there's big charges. We got to stockpile now.
But what about the current rules? Like the current PSO rules?
You don't have to deal with them for another 10 years by the looks of things. They're
true.
2040s problems.
That's true. 2045. That's when they'll come at us again. So yeah, I mean, I think who was it at Tottenham, just like Arsenal last week, have now been knocked out of both cups in a week. Rough week for a rough year for Spurs. I've seen people mimicking Ange's interview style on TikTok. Just like
never good.
He comes with like he looks like directly down on the floor and like doesn't look at the cameras. Like, look, man, he's like at a funeral that was his fault. That's the kind of vibe he's given. You know, I'm really sorry. You know,
I'm sorry, mate.
Like legally, he's not in trouble, but like everyone knows it's his fault. It's like,
he knows.
I'm so sorry, mate. I don't know how many ways I can say it. I don't know what else to say. So I see lots of that. So I don't know how he's, again, we started the last like 5 podcasts, like at the time of writing, he's not out. He's still at the helm.
No words yet.
But I don't know how long it can go on.
I mean, anyone who's seen, we'll play the clip here of his latest press conference.
Oh, yeah.
We could literally play any clips from the last 2 months, though. He's done this loads of times. But this one, it's worth seeking it out and watching it. Normally these clips start and the manager's looking down just to the side of the camera and nodding at the interviewer asking questions. This one, shot instantly opens. Ange has his head in his hands. He's rubbing his eyes. He's like, look, I don't know how much more times I can say it.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know how else to explain it, right? So I really don't know how else to explain it other than if you can't see, this team is just trying its hardest to play under the most extreme 2.5 months of asking 18-year-olds and 17-year-olds and senior players with no rest to play Thursday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday. I'll keep going for 2.5 months. And if you think that is not at all a factor of how this team is performing right now, then there's nothing else I can say. There's got to be a better appreciation for what a very small group of players have been doing for the last 2.5 months. It can't be that people think that that's an excuse. That's just not anywhere near close to objective analysis. That's just agenda-driven stuff. If it's to get rid of me, then that's fine. You know, good on you. Go for it a million times. But in terms of this group of players, like I said, what they've given over the last 2.5 months has been outstanding. It's a credit to them.
I saw another where he listed all the players that he had injured. I mean, look, this is the thing when you have all the injuries. Like, oh well, that's unlucky. That's not good. And then it goes on for months, and it's like, well, how about this, pal? Maybe it's your fault. You know, maybe you're flogging them.
Don't remember this any other year, mate.
Which, you know, I don't know. Does anybody really know what goes on at Spurs? Like behind, like, you know, are they like being pulled out of the medical room saying, "No, you got more runs to do, son"? You know, where the hell is Timo Werner? He's slacking off again. Get him out there. I want to see those hamstrings bleed. You know, like we don't know if that's happening or if they're like changing it dramatically. Like I suppose a good example is Arsenal this year. Like so many injuries. Last year, I mean, they had the Saliba one, and they had, you know, a couple. So maybe there's some kind of link. But like this year's way worse. You know, like they've had like a couple. Like say who was it got injured there? Saka. Like that, I guess people were kind of, that's coming because he's been playing all these games, but it's not necessarily linked to the way Arsenal are training or anything like that. you know, you look at Liverpool where I had a lot of injuries, and now with Slot, it's like, you know, it's all peace and harmony, and whatever Slot's doing must be the way to do it. But like, you know, I think a lot of it is just unluckiness. And that clip we played, I guess, he isn't turning on the players, which I think is, if he does that, it's really over, because that's the only thing he has left now.
Well, it's funny. He kind of got that out of the way last year. He turned on the club. Do you remember that game where Tottenham wanted to lose they wanted to lose to Man City to cost Arsenal the title, and the fans were very like cheering every time Man City scored.
Yeah.
And that was when Ange did the speech. He's like, there's a lot. This club I've learned a lot this week about the club, inside and out. I think that was the moment where he's like, gave up on that. So this year it's just like, look, they're making an effort. That's all I can ask for.
I forgot about that. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, he said people inside the club and outside the club.
Mm. Yeah, because it seemed like he was just annoyed at the fans. But then when he said that, it's like, oh, he must have been hearing this all week.
Did we... this is, man, it's crazy. Like the hours we've talked about, I have no recollection of this.
Yeah.
Like, no, I do now that we say it, but I mean, I that completely, you could have played a clip of me talking about that and gone, that's not me, man. That's, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, that's not me. I never said that. This is why if you are racist, it will come out, you know? So like,
there's hundreds of hours. You just go blank. You start recording, you just disassociate for an hour.
So if you're saying the N-word in private and you start podcasting, you're basically going to say the N-word on mic.
You're going to say it.
You think you won't, but you will. That's why. It's not because, oh, look, man, I just do so many hours of podcasting. I don't know what. No, you're just talking privately.
Yeah.
And you're recording yourself like an idiot because you're a racist and you should be doing that, you know, because you're going to get in trouble. Well, my point being, when we were talking about that stuff, did we make up or did we hear that someone in the Spurs staff said something to Ange? Wasn't there something like that?
I don't know if that was a bit we had. Yeah, that's a good question.
I think that was going around that someone said, oh, you know, don't win today or something. And he was like, what
I
you said to me?
think so. I think I think some staff members had said things to him. That does sound very familiar.
Because immediately people are like, oh, he means the players. The players are losers. You know, that's obviously what we think. But then it came out it was actually a staff member who said some kind of a joke like, oh, well, at least Arsenal won the title when we lose. It's like, what you say, mate? Yeah. What you say, Cat?
That I tell you, I can't imagine the fear of God you'd get saying a joke to Ange and having him turn on you. You would shit yourself. You'd be like, oh no, oh, I thought we were pals.
I just no. What I meant. No, I didn't. What I just said.
No, say it, mate.
No, I know what I meant was. Everybody be quiet. This guy's something to say. He's got to explain himself. He's got to explain that joke he made. Yeah. Fucking hell. I forgot about that. Jesus. He's been here a while, hasn't he, Ange?
I tell you. It's funny as well because he's saying in that video, like, you know, it's the injuries. You can't fault the players' efforts. Like any team would suffer under this. It's like, yeah, but the issue is going into these last two games, even if Spurs were going well, I think a lot of people would be like, they're going to lose those. They always lose those games. As Carragher mentioned last week, like, even without the injuries, these are the type of games where they do falter. There's some weird, we always say, it shouldn't carry over, but there is some weird mental thing that carries from generation to generation at clubs until the curse is broken for some reason.
Bar the first few weeks where they were top of the league, and more than the first few weeks because he won like 3 manager of the month in like 3 months, wasn't it? It was insane. He was like, they're going to do it. He's broken the curse, and then since then it's been like a year and a half of like injuries, and I will not change no matter what. I mean, I don't know what the Spurs fans think of it at this point, but you think, okay, there's injuries and there's whatever, but I think that's the biggest thing against them. It's like he's not trying. He doesn't care about season to season. He's thinking bigger picture. Once we get the players back, then
I'm going to go back to doing what I was doing.
Then my style will work and it's going to be all good. But
but it wasn't working when they were here at the start of the season.
But those first 2 months, remember them? Remember all those managers of the months? You know, I think he's like thinking, once we get back to that, then we're good. I'll be manager of the month again.
That's what we all want, right?
That's the big goal, right? That's what we're all working towards. My manager of the month award. No, I'm being unfair. I think honestly Spurs get a bad rap as like these kind of, losers and like, oh, they're
Flakes.
Like, I have a vague memory of them in the early to mid 2000s. Or like they were just like a mid-table team. Like it was,
Yeah.
Like Chelsea obviously got the investment from Roman Abramovich, City, Newcastle. They all kind of like skipped the queue to get up to top four. Whereas like in my mind, this isn't based on any fact or numbers, but in my mind, they got there because of Harry Redknapp.
Yeah, that makes sense in my brain as well.
Him, Nico Kranjčar, Jermaine Defoe, Gareth Bale.
They turned the whole thing around, yeah.
They just had these like Gareth Bale, as we all know, was like this cursed player. Every time that he started, he couldn't play. He got moved into a fucking attacking position and became this world class player. They brought in Modric, who like improved almost every year up until like his mid-30s of his career. Like got better and better. Like just kind of the old ports of players that Harry Redknapp brought in. I remember they were like close to relegation like they are now, and he came in and turned them around. But like they were a proper like mid-table team, like Everton were before David Moyes came in.
Yeah.
It was like they weren't at the level of a Man United or an Arsenal or Liverpool. Like they were a mid-table team, and now we kind of see them as like if they don't make top four, it's like those fucking idiots. What are they doing? It's like they're battling. They're trying. They spend.
They're literally the only club who's done it the right way.
This is it, and like I was thinking, I'll say Aston Villa are similar in that they've done it, quote unquote, the right way.
Yeah.
And we'll see how and again, credit to Aston Villa, not that that's a bad thing, but if in say 15 years time, because like remember the Harry Redknapp Tottenham run in the Champions League, remember David Bentley and Peter Crouch, that was like 2010. It was 15 years ago. Like if in 15 years Aston Villa are still thereabouts and have won nothing, no one's going to be talking about they're doing it the right way. They're going to be saying they're a fucking bunch of bottlers, and the kids in 15 years time won't remember the Aston Villa that we knew, who were like, perennial like relegation candidates / mid-table. It's just I feel Spurs get all this kind of like flack for like blowing it or being mentally weak, but when you think of the money they spend and the way they've got to this new stadium, again, I keep saying they've done it the right way, but it's just the other way is like the Newcastle or the Chelsea or the City. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, that's a lot easier to do than, developing Gareth Bale, selling him on, and then rebuilding again and getting Harry Kane, Dele Alli, then losing them and having to start again with like, other players. Like it's what two steps forward, one step back all the time. And it's a slow process. Yeah. It's like they're taking 10 years from, like, again, just the Harry Redknapp thing. He was so good. He almost got the England job because he got Tottenham to the Champions League. That's what impressive was back then. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, this man is a genius. Get him to the biggest job in the country because whatever he's doing, he's got Spurs to the Champions League and they're doing well at it. That was enough for people to be like, this man is a genius. So I think we just forget that,
Yeah, it is funny that like people really hammer Daniel Levy and Tottenham, and it has kind of come back to bite them now, where they could do with a big huge squad with extra players when players get injured. But it's funny that like everyone hammers Levy like doesn't spend anything. He has loads of. They've earned all that money and they spent it on a stupid stadium. They haven't bought £100 million player to get them out of this hole. It's like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. That's the whole game.
Spurs can't buy £100 million flop like a lot of the other top six teams have. I mean, I know not to make this a shit on Newcastle thing, but like, buying Chris Woods that Burnley were get relegated and then selling him on, and in the process missing that he's actually a good player.
He's unbelievable, yeah.
And still being fine is like, that is like something that Spurs can never do. They would never be able to like just be that flip with money and not even care about that player is like get him out of here, he's too old, It's like, that would just never happen. So yeah, I think it's very tough for them to compete. They have now the new stadium, and I guess there'll probably be events and stuff, and maybe they'll see the money coming and that. But I also think it's very fashionable to call them bottlers for people like you don't even believe it, but they'll just get like traction online, so it's just funny to say it, and that gets you monetization or whatever. So yeah, I mean, you do see them getting hammered all the time, but when you look at the other teams around them, Like even Man United, the way they spend money and stuff like that, and it's like they actually put no money into their stadium, or they fired their staff and stuff like that. It's like, look at Tottenham, those fuckers. You know, it's like it's just so fashionable to give out to them. You know, but yeah, they are now locked in on Europa League. It's Europa League or bust for them.
I wonder, is it Europa League or Ange? Like, is that all? Because if they're sticking with him, then they're going to stick with him whether he's in or out of the Europa League this year. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't really make sense to sack him if he doesn't win the Europa League, because it's like, well, he might not win that, do you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I do wonder, are his days numbered as soon as he loses that Europa League game, or if they lose it? Is that it? He's gone. Get someone else in. Get Ryan Mason in, steady the ship.
That's who it will be again. We talked about this. There's no one's going to come in. Like, once you're out of the Europa League, there's nothing left. There's no glory. Maybe a week ago, I'd say, listen, we're in 3 competitions. I could
a week ago, that's mental.
new manager bounce, I might do it. Now you're like, ooh, Europa League is a tough league to win, you know? If you go out with that, it's like, right, I might get them to top half and then spend less money than everybody else as well, while probably selling on fucking Brennan Johnson to fucking Juventus. You know, whatever it is, I think if they go out the Europa League, that they won't sack him, because no one will come in. And yeah, they're not entirely safe yet. They're not at the magic 40 points. So yeah, I think whatever happens at this point now, I just don't see him leaving until the end of the season, where they will leave by mutual consent, maybe, if they finish just above relegation, win nothing. I think as long as he has the players as well, he has a fighting chance. You know, once he turns on the players and the fans, he has no one left, you know?
Yeah, he has, well, to be fair, he hasn't really turned on the fans. There are a good few videos, though, of, again, like we mentioned earlier, fans like shouting stuff at him, like calling him like, you stupid cunt or whatever. And then he'll walk back and be like, who said that? Was that you? And then that's where the clip ends. Usually, we've seen a few of those. Yeah. So like he's one to give it to the fans, but he never gives it to the fans. What to say, like out of like unsolicited, out of nowhere in a press conference. He'll give it back to you if you give it to him.
He'll never say, you know, the stadium was quiet tonight. You know, don't know what that was about. Like that kind of stuff is like, well, don't say that ever. You know, but that could be a way if you're, you know, the way to distract from maybe your performance. But if he resorts to that. Yeah, it's lights out. I think loses the fans and the players, and I think he has the players still. What's left of them? Like usually at this point, there'd be a leak, an article in the Athletic being like, "The training is barbarous," you know.
yeah. Brendan Johnson he hates it.
He doesn't believe in doctors. You know, he's banned them all from the changing room. The doctors there aren't real doctors; they're just pretend doctors that he's brought in. He doesn't believe in physios. You know, these kind of stuff be coming out. There's none of that coming out yet, again, at the time of recording, but yeah, I genuinely think it's maybe a little bit of his dogmatic beliefs and then also unluckiness compiling that dogmatic belief of I'm not going to change no matter what.
Yeah, this is the biggest matter what. This is where you got to change.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're seeing Bruno Amorim is at the early stages of the no matter what as well. And he's getting these kind of late wins, and it's kind of keeping his head above water at the moment.
I couldn't believe this. I saw Man United have won 6 of their last 8 games, and I thought, in what universe? No fucking way.
It's the mainstream media trying to poison Bruno Amorim's reign. That's what it is, Will. He's actually doing great.
Yeah, they're winning all the time. Don't worry about how it's going during the game. All that matters is the result. We've seen it before with Ollie. It's the result that counts. Nothing will ever come crashing down.
No, I think he is the same as Ange, that he has his belief and has gone on record saying he's not going to change. But at the moment, he has the kind of, well, I was brought in early. And I
don't have the players.
I haven't had a chance to bring in the wingbacks, you know. If he brings the wingbacks that he wants, and they play and they lose, and they don't change,
big trouble. Big trouble.
I think that's kind of where Ange is now. You know, Ange has had a transfer window. You got in Madison and Solanke, and they fixed a lot of the holes they had. And like, you know, you're 14th and you're out of the 2 cups. You know, so we'll see. But yeah, Man United, they won 2-1 last minute Harry Maguire header. I wonder how Harry Maguire will be kind of remembered, what his legacy will be in this Man United team.
I remember us talking about it where we said we don't see a way back for him into this team. And I think in the same clip, we were talking about how is he the first player to be ruined by memes? He's managed to come out the other end of the memes. Like, you never really hear jokes about Harry Maguire anymore, or like just the usual like, I think he's widely respected now somehow. No one ever says anything about him.
I think he's gone from overrated to rated, Will. I think people just say, you know what?
Pretty fair.
we know what he is. He's not as good as Van Dijk. I think we've all agreed that he had a similar price tag, but there was a little bit of inflation, and Man United were desperate, and he's not a top. I think we said that in that clip as well, that he'll never be considered. And when he came first and he was doing well, and it was England doing well at the Euros and the World Cup, and it was like, this guy's fucking a rocket to the back, And there was a bit of
crying out for Harry Maguire.
Yeah, he's like Steve Bruce and fucking Vidic rolled into one, But I think the memes and that have definitely taken him down a peg or two more than he probably deserved, for sure.
Yeah,
and it's kind of now settled at a point where it's like, all right, like he is what he is. Don't expect him to play out from the back, but he'll get his head on a last minute winner. And that shows some kind of grit and desire. And I mean, his whole career shows some kind of grit and desire. But yeah, I don't know. I think he'll just be, in his legacy might be just best of a bad bunch at a bad time, maybe. Reliable.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we talked about players like Ander Herrera and stuff before who are like United fans look at them very fondly because probably in that summer window, they got 5 other players that all Man United fans despise now, looking back. So he's one of them. Yeah. Like when he came in, it's like, yeah, I love this guy. He probably came in 6 months before Sancho did. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I also remember, I think it was last summer when he was when they were desperately trying to sell him and asking him, please pay for us. Please pay someone the wages. Or take a pay cut take a pay cut, wasn't it? Well, that's what it was. Take a pay cut to go to West Ham and end this nightmare for all of us.
Yeah.
And we were like, that's really unfair, and he's dead right to stand his ground. But also, I think I'm a weaker man than him, and I would.
I would. If they told me, I'd say, you know better than me, probably. You are the manager.
Yeah. But in hindsight, he could have gone, imagine gone to this West Ham team. They would have blamed him. They would have said, Jesus, look at what he's done to us,
Oh, great. Another Man United flop, they'd say.
Yeah, and he would have been, and the microscope would have been back under him, under a new set of fans who didn't care before, whereas he could see the light at the end of the tunnel. He's like, listen, I can get through this. They'll move on to somebody else.
Eric will be gone soon. I know it. I could feel it.
He knew he could outlast the manager, and fair play to him for that. But yeah, he got that late winner, and who are they playing? They were playing
Leicester,
and get over the line. They go on. This time, though, they will have to contend with VAR.
Yes, it was. It's been a funny one for United with VAR this year because they also, that Carabao Cup game with no VAR, where probably should have had a goal ruled out against them, but didn't because there's none. This one, the whole team was offside when they scored the winner. It is a real throwback to see a goal like that because goals like that used to infuriate people.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that would be, that still image of all the players offside would be like, we need VAR. VAR will fix all this.
Well, this is also the problem with VAR. Another problem they didn't kind of think of when they were, hurriedly getting it through
shoving it through the pipes
for 2018 World Cup to show that we're actually a sport of the future. That, you can't have it in every ground. Like, FA Cup 4th and 5th rounds.
You can't have it. I know Leicester and Man United are both in the Premier League, but you can't have it for just them.
You can't have it for Liverpool versus Plymouth Argyle. So, you can only have it in some games. They didn't think about this. These referees are not used to it. They're not used to it day in, day out. They're something happens, they freeze, they listen to 10 voices all at once.
Yeah. And then they go with what the last one says.
And then they go with it, or maybe they go with the screen, they watch it back. They're out of practice for making these decisions.
Yeah.
Whereas if there's some kind of like call system where the referee still does his job like he's done all his life, And then they go, hang on, ref. Excuse me, sir. I would like to make a challenge on one of those decisions, one of my 3 of the game. And they go, well, that's fair.
You don't have to mention every time. I know how it works.
Well, thank you for explaining the rules to me. I will head up to the one man in the room who with one screen that everyone at home can see, and he'll check. And you know what? I'll be back to you very shortly with the resolved decision. You know? And then
Is everyone in the stadium okay with that? And everyone claps quietly?
everyone nods obediently. Yeah, that's how the rules are laid out, and we all agree and we're all happy. You know, so like when a situation like this comes out, the ref is muscle memory. He's been trained now to just like freeze and like, oh shit, I wasn't looking. Linesman, were you looking? No, I wasn't looking either.
Where's the linesman?
The linesman is like not even there. So yeah, that's again, it doesn't matter because the FA Cup, probably not. Leicester may go down. So yeah, that's why I thought another FA Cup would be nice. You know, we'll catch Man United and Arsenal slowly but surely. Man United, I think, yeah, I guess they'd like to win the FA Cup. It'd be a nice little kind of a.
That's their thing now, is winning cups.
Well, if they win this one, well, they're level with Arsenal.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, if they win this one, then they've won a domestic cup in every season the last 3, which is like, this is like a dynasty. When you look at the record books, you go say, wow, Man United, what a team they must have been in the 2020s.
Slowly but surely, you'll be like, all right, at the back, Vidic or Harry Maguire?
Yeah.
Tough one. Both great players, Man United. Won lots. Maguire slightly more, of course, with all those cups. That's how the legend grows. But yeah, they keep on ticking away at those cup competitions. That hey, look, no one cares about until you win one. You know, if you know, it's easy to say don't care about if you don't win it, pal. Yeah, they go on in the FA Cup. Liverpool knocked out. City knocked out of the FA Cup?
No, City played Plymouth.
Oh, sorry, we just talked about that. Yeah, there's a few. It's like what? How many more rounds to go?
Well, they're going into the 5th round now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then it changes from numbered rounds to 32 and 16 and quarters.
World Cup style.
They just change all of a sudden, though. Just do that from the start. Say round of 400 and whatever at the start.
I'll be honest, folks. I'll check back in March. See what's on the FA Cup. Although March is quite busy for me. Maybe it might be April. I won't lie to you, it might be April.
Semi-final.
End of March, early April. We'll put a pin in it. We'll circle back to the FA Cup. See what's what. As we've said, it doesn't really matter. There is enough money in it, which is what sport is all about. The money.
Yeah. The TV rights first, and then the money second. That's what we want.
I haven't seen any think pieces about Newcastle yet. Have you?
No, not one.
No, maybe again the next round. Once it gets to the number rounds, all right, this is getting too close for comfort. We need to fucking remind people these guys are the bad guys after all. Just because having one thing in a while doesn't mean they're not bad people. Yeah, was any more breaking news in the past? Is there a fight back?
Just about to say, boo. We have a fight back, Kyle. It is 1-1 with a goal from Kylian Mbappe.
That man again, Will. He's found his form.
Yep, there's 12 minutes to go in that game, and I actually have a quote from before the game. That goal is bad news for one man, Man City legend Sergio Aguero, who was quoted today, and I repeat, he was quoted today as saying, Real Madrid can't beat City. If they beat City, I'll cut off my testicles.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's like, that's a big statement, because I've seen them beat City. Loads.
Maybe that's like poorly translated from Spanish. It might be funnier in Spanish. It might be like a pun or something, maybe. I hope so.
It's a famous cartoon quote over there.
Yeah, it's a reference we're not getting. It must be something that we're just not understanding, because that seems, like I say, factually wrong and then a bit of an overreaction. Like they have lost them before a couple of times.
It's Real Madrid. Of course they could win.
It's a pretty good rivalry, honestly. Real Madrid City. But he's also, of course, a Barcelona man and a Messi man, is Aguero. So we can't rule that out, that he obviously doesn't like Real Madrid for whatever reason. He play for Atletico Madrid as well? So he's like a former Atletico Madrid man too.
Yeah, so he probably has a lot of like deep-seated trauma against Real Madrid. They've definitely done bad things. They've caused him a lot of bad memories in his life, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't know how long he's played Atletico Madrid, but yeah, definitely. I think that's just overreaction from Man City, or from Sergio Aguero, World Cup winner Sergio Aguero, of course. What else we have then in the FA Cup, which we were doing a Magic Cup weekend coverage. We had a former Man United man, Marcus Rashford. He made his debut for Aston Villa. Nothing crazy.
A cameo. He looked good. He looked lively about it. Didn't get a goal or assist, but he looked lively. I will say also, I was watching the highlights of that game. You weren't going out of your way to look up every Marco Asensio touch from that game, who's on loan from PSG to Aston Villa at the moment. It's crazy because when you're watching him play, you're like, oh yeah, this guy definitely played for Real Madrid. He's fucking miles better than everyone else on the pitch in that game. Every touch is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, if in 2018 you told me Marco Asensio and Marcus Rashford were playing for Aston Villa, I would say Aston Villa must have gotten a lot better and they've gotten a lot worse. And that is exactly what's happened.
Yeah, you'd be correct.
I'd say, well, I bet they're meeting in the middle.
Let me guess. Fallout with Man United for Rashford on loan? Yes, correct.
I'll tell you what, there's no way they're going to get that bad and there's no way Aston Villa are going to get that good. And if they did, why would they sell their best players to Aston Villa? Have they become evil? Are they forcing to sell those players to them? There must be some kind of meeting in the middle. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Time traveler.
Yeah, and you'd be that time traveler would say, "Damn, you know your stuff."
Well, it's hard to impress you with my future knowledge, he would say. It is interesting to see Marco Asensio at Aston Villa. He was decent at Real Madrid, but he was around the Bale, Benzema, Ronaldo thing. That's going to just fuck with your head, I think.
Tough to break out there, really. I mean, the fact that we know his name at all speaks to how good he must have been during that period. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, he was unbelievable when he came in first, but just, not that good. But like you say, that does have to knock your confidence. When you're as good as he was, probably his entire life, to then just be like, oh no, you're still good, and we do actually rate you really high. That's why you're at Real Madrid and you're getting paid lots of money, but you're not making the team, pal. Not for the big games. It's like, why not? These guys are better. Nothing you can do.
Yeah, you play with all of the best players of all time currently.
Some of them, for sure. You're nothing you can do at this point. It's already been done. You would have done more in your youth, probably. You're not going to be as good as them. They're at their absolute prime. You're not getting the team, Marco. And then you're kind of faced like, do I leave Real Madrid? No, I'd be crazy. This won't last forever. And then you get an injury, and then there's like this weird shit with Spain where you don't get called up because Luis Enrique hates Real Madrid. You're like, what the hell is going on with me,
Are Real Madrid the baddies?
Yeah. But then also you're just like, you're not being disrespected. People are very clear about that, and you can't really disagree that Ronaldo's better than you, but like, damn, I'd like to play some games, And then you go to PSG and you're at Aston Villa, and it's like, I've never been bad, have I? Have I been bad?
Yeah. It is funny to imagine him at Villa, even with them going well and being a well-run club and stuff. There must have been a part of his brain that was like, I can't believe I'm playing for Aston Villa.
It's the kind of thing, if he was playing well somewhere else before Real Madrid at that time, him or an agent or a family member would have said, listen, Marco, don't go to Real Madrid because you're just not going to make that team. But I'm pretty sure he was a youth team player, wasn't he?
I think so, yeah.
So he just came up and like, oh, fuck, what? It was like, if he was playing well at other clubs, like, no, just don't do it. You'll never make that team. So it's really unlucky, that he was too good at a young age that he found himself at Real Madrid. And then also unlucky that, he just did everything right and he'd get punished for his whole career, essentially. And then a few injuries.
Yeah.
That's probably the other part of it. But yeah.
When I saw those clips, though, I was looking forward to seeing him in the Premier League for the rest of the season. Because again, it feels like a player where it's like, I've never really watched him week to week. Do you know what I mean? I've only ever heard tales of Marco Asensio and then seen the odd Champions League game.
Yeah, you see a screamer on YouTube on a Thursday morning back in the day. But yeah, it's the kind of thing, even if he does well at Aston Villa, I don't think it'll be enough for PSG to like, oh, actually, he is good. They know he's good. It's just something's a bit off,
Yeah, there's some wages thing or something. There's no way they're like, oh, he's proved us wrong.
I mean, slowly but surely that great team that I tipped to win the Champions League, well, one by one. I love to. I might make a graphic of the the team photo, and then grey out the players who are gone and see who's left. Mbappe, Ugarte, Asensio.
Colomwani's still there, I think.
Oh, I think he's at. I think he went to. Oh, did he go to Juve? I think Colomwani.
Oh,
went to Juve.
maybe actually. A lot of teams were linked.
Colomwani. Yeah, let me just. Muani.
Asensio, yeah.
That great team.
Is Wijnaldum still there?
He's at Juventus, yeah. No, Wijnaldum's gone as well. No, I could make the graphic, Will. I think I will, in fact.
Very funny to grey out like a totally... No, I know they won the French League and French Cup probably, but it's funny to have a greyed out graphic for like a mediocre team in the grand scheme of things. Like, oh, what once was. It's like a year and a half ago.
The 2023-2024 Champions League semi-finalists, Real Madrid. Yeah. Greatest team to ever win the Champions League. You're like, what? They're up there. They're top 20. I don't know if this is going to do any numbers, Will. I don't think people are going to care too much about Colin Mwani or Marcus Rashford's debut. I think we need to...
No one cares. It's the FA Cup. It's the FA Cup fourth round.
We need to talk about the Luka trade, I think, Will. We just get that in there, Luka Doncic to the LA Lakers.
Yeah, get it in the title. I don't know if you saw the highlights of his first game. There's an amazing shot where... he gets the ball and he looks up and he spots that it's LeBron James on the break that he's about to launch it to. And he just gets the biggest shit-eating grin in his face. He's like, I can't believe I'm playing for these. How did this happen?
Yeah, I honestly don't know how it happens. I'm not really sure what the relevance of it is. I haven't followed basketball since 2020 and I could stay up all night watching basketball, You just can't, I can't stay up with the times,
Still, you hear, like, obviously, we were talking about it as well, and football, too many games. There's fucking 82 games in the league. And then then the actual games start.
Don't get me started on the NFL, the halftime show, the Super Bowl. I mean, it's just too much information to kind of take in. And then it's like, there's a new element to the beef between Drake and Kendrick. Like, this still. I thought I had a handle on this, but there's new elements to it. There's symbolism.
It's not that there's too much games, Carl. It's that there's too much information altogether.
I tell you what
who's listening to this? Why do you need our opinion?
Maybe they're on a long drive or something. Maybe they're stuck in an airport. God knows why we listen to these different things. I will say, I was watching, I think, Arsenal versus City women's team. And like, as a spectacle, it was fine. It was grand. Like, it was a game of football, Didn't know any of the players. Didn't know any of the lore, I was like, I need to get into this. You actually have to invest time. You can watch it and get into it, and then care about the players and their stories. And like, there's one mention of like another battle between those. It's like, I don't know what that's referencing to. If I watched every week, you would. It's not that like other sports are worse or worse quality. It's just like it's the side stories. You need the backstory to get into it, to care about it a bit. Like the Mbappe stuff, knowing that he was like pillared at the start of the season for not delivering, to see him scoring now, was like, that makes he scored again. Imagine. It was like someone just knows Mbappe and he scored a goal. It's like, isn't that what he's meant to do? Yeah, but shut up. But no, you're not getting it. You're not getting it.
I think it'd be like if I went to see I don't know if it was the last one, but that, the way that Spider-Man movie where they had all the old Spider-Mans in it as well, where they all meet together. I would only have known the first movie. So if I went to see that movie, I would be so confused. I'd be like, I don't understand the relevance. I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is. That's what watching a new sport is like. You don't know any of the Spider-Man.
You don't know what Spider-Man that was from that year. Like I was saying, when it cuts to like Vincent Kompany on the sideline for Bayern Munich, to a non-football watcher,
that's
that
like a
means
post-credit scene in Spider-Man. Yeah.
It just means nothing to the average kind of person. They look at it and go, who's that? It's like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
He tanked Burnley. Ever hear of it?
All right. Burnley is a team in England.
They're owned by Dude Perfect.
It's like, that's why wrestling works, because there isn't the competitive nature of it, but all you really, 90% of it is the backstory and the lore and
it's all backstory. It's one continuous backstory that never ends. That's why it's perfect. It takes away all the faff of the actual sport and the results mattering.
One thing I did see, I didn't need any context for. Even a blind man could see. That's a reference. Was obviously there's the Kendrick Lamar halftime show. I've seen twice now on my different feeds, which maybe speaks more at me than anybody else. But with the caption, "This is what a halftime show should look like," and it was Creed singing "Higher."
We tapped into something with new metal. I'm not saying we caused it, but we were really tuned into what's called the zeitgeist. We knew what the children yearned for new metal.
I think those posts were just from racist people, though. They're like, "This
100%.
is what halftime show."
These guys are white.
Play us out, Creed.
Creed month.
Creed, but just play the 2 Creed songs everyone knows. Yeah. Well, we'll be back shortly, I guess, because there's Champions League happening right now and tomorrow night. We got to cover that. So yeah, we'll be back later on in the week for full Champions League coverage, all the games, all the backstories.
We'll talk about the Man City Real Madrid game. Get ready for that.
all the lore, all that good stuff. You got to be an ultra to hear all that, though. Link in the description of this episode. Click the link, join the ultras. You get unlimited access to all the archive, all the new stuff, all the hits. Higher, 6 feet from the edge. No, one last breath.
My sacrifice.
All the hits, all the discography of Creed is on there. You just gotta find them. They're hidden in the episodes.
Will I upload the discography of Creed to the Patreon? I mean, I think you can do whatever you want, copyright wise, on Patreon.
Yeah, add a new tier, the Creed tier, where you can just
all of Creed's music for download. Just $5 a month.
a $5 a month to listen to Creed whenever you want. You know, I know you might say Spotify, you could just pay a tenner and get access to all music, but in this case,
it's too much. You don't need all that.
You don't want distractions. You just want Creed. You want a real Super Bowl halftime show, boy. That's what you want. See, that's what I mean. You know, you talk long enough, it'll come out, Will.
It'll come out. Yeah.
It'll come out in the form of Creed. Creed love. No, we'll be back later on the week with the Ultras, and we'll be back next weekend. After next weekend, where there's just more Premier League, I'm pretty sure. Just back to
I think we're back to
scheduling. So yeah, we'll see you then, and have a great week. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
So let's go there. Let's make our escape. Come on, let's go there. Let's ask, can we stay? Can you take me higher to a place where the line and sea? Can you take me higher to a place where golden streams? Although I would like a world to change, it helps me to appreciate those nights and those dreams.